Dans
Well, good morning, everybody. Hello and welcome. Well, it's morning here. It's 8:59 a.m. here in Northern California. So I think it's like afternoon for some, and then the next day for others. Uh, Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Super happy to have y'all here. Um, so like I do my routine. I shuffle. I focus on a card that we can discuss for the day, a card that we can maybe contemplate or meditate on and just be aware of, and maybe a card that we can take something from, and that's what pops up every day. Well, every day. Well, good morning, Diane. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, every day that we do this, I should say, because consistency is a challenge at times. Uh, but the King of Swords came up. The King of Swords reverse came up for today's topic of conversation, I should say, which I find interesting because yesterday we had the Queen of Swords and she was like looking towards the right. And so then today we have the actual King of Swords reversed. And again, like I expressed, and like I will always express, reversals are not innately negative or bad, but they can be like they can be negative, they can be bad, they can be like tough for sure, but they don't automatically mean, oh, this is doom and gloom. It's just a reversal. So it's challenge. It is up stuff being unearthed or surfacing so we can process. The fact that this is the second swords card in a row, and the courts, right? I do place emphasis on that. So it's like, okay, we got another air card. So I do find that um something that I would say is that we really need to start behaving in a way that we can mentally, intellectually be responsible, be there's a word I'm looking for. I'm not finding it, but basically the swords is like, get your thoughts right, get your beliefs right, get your the things that you focus on in your mind start to get them and when I say right, I mean in alignment with like what you want to actually be experiencing. So if there's something you want to do, if you have a goal set, if you have a project that you want to do, if you have like something you want to achieve, well, start to align your thought process and what you focus on in your activities. Start focusing and getting the things in alignment to make that happen. Our thoughts are part of the solution, right? And so, yeah, the King of Swords reversed comes up for us, and it does often signal a sort of misalignment of power and intellect. And I feel like when the King of Swords reverse pops up, it very well could be someone else or it could be ourselves. We have to be mindful of that, but it is definitely something where are we utilizing our power appropriately? Are we utilizing our power, our influence, our intellect, our mind, our thoughts in a way that is going to be, beneficial, or are we using our power to manipulate and to cause harm? And I'm not saying you can't cause harm. I'm not telling you what to do with your life, but in this sense, these are the questions we have to ask ourselves. Like, are we using our mind and our powers for the upliftment and the progression of our own life, or are we using it to tear other people down and really not focusing on what we actually want to do for ourselves? So it does suggest that authority may be used unwisely, like we just said, or that clear communication is hindered. Uh, and so I think again, if you look at the reversal, if you put the card upright and reverse, the body positioning really for the king is the same. So we know that this is something that we have to be mindful of, like right now. This is something that is present moment. The past, the future, they are what they are, but right now this is something that's it's happening. And so I feel like we need that immediate attention to our thoughts, to our mental faculties, to being aware of how, what things are, what is being said. Okay. Absolutely. Yeah, preparing mentally to make clear choices. Yeah. Absolutely. And so I feel a lot of times I've experienced the King of Swords as a manager who is in obviously a higher position than I am, who is utilizing their influence, their words, to minimize what I do. So I had a manager who she's just had it out for me. And she was very King of Swordsy. Um, she had it out for me because I did my work, I did the things right, and people liked me. And she did not like that people liked me and that I was still able to do the work that I did. And so with the King of Swords reversed here, I bring that situation up is because, like, when I would get a review, like my I don't know, it was quarterly review or whatever, but like when it would be time to get a review, get a raise, she would technically like give everyone the same, and she would be like, well, you're just doing your job, like customer service or engaging with clients, or making, whatever, you're just doing your job, that's in your job requirement. And so like I'm not going to talk highly of you when you're just fulfilling your job, right? And so she would utilize her words and swords, air, intellect stuff, writing, right? She would put it on paper that basically, to make sure, she would use her power to make sure that I would not be seen anymore, or I would not get that raise. Does that make sense? And so I find the King of Swords reversed is a lot like that. We have to be very careful. And that's just an example, but we can take that example and apply it to our own lives. Like, where are we the ones, doing that? Or is that being done to us? We need to be mindful of not utilizing our like air power, the intellect, the mind, the mental stuff, and the words that we use in a way. We have to be very aware that we use it in a way that is going to produce a solution, and to instead of like hurting people. And I think that, and the swords, like I said, the swords are very intense, and so they can definitely cause harm. It hurts when someone talks about you in a way that it just tears you down. It doesn't matter if you know it's not true, it still hurts. And so I think that with the King of Swords reversed, we have to be very aware of that. Okay. And so with the King of Swords appearing reversed, it can indicate potential challenges in leadership. Perhaps a decision maker who is not seeing things clearly or is misusing their intellectual power. We've been talking about this. And so we know that when someone abuses that intellectual power, it can cause harm for people. It can cause harm for us. And I think it's the King of Swords reversed is a card that is reminding us to make sure to keep honest, to keep truthful, to hold ourselves with integrity and navigate this present moment. So if someone is coming to us and they need honest feedback from us, like, because that happens, it is important that we give them and provide the honest feedback. But because it is swords and reverse, we have to make sure that we are providing honest feedback in a way that is not going to tear down, but to encourage to do better, right? Does that make sense? um I've had similar experiences with higher ups. I have a real problem when someone just, yeah. I fought for myself a lot. Like I learned, and I'm grateful for that job experience because I learned a lot there. I had so much fun, but I learned how to stand my ground. I learned how to fight for myself, and I learned also the King of Swords reverse energy too. Like for me, I learned that damn, you can be harmful with what you say, even though if it's the truth or not. Like you need to, I learned how to perfect how to communicate and stand your ground. Because like for me, when someone comes at me, I get shaky, I get emotional. It makes me feel uncomfortable, but I won't back down. And then the hoops are down and I can get all chola on you and I'll be like, okay, let's go. Right. I'm not always the best in a professional setting. So I learned a lot about that, about me, and that experience, in that experience. So, King of Swords reverse. What do you think? What do you make of it? What do you think of the kings? And yes, thank you. That's a perfect how to advocate in an effective way. I like that. That's another lesson that we have to kind of learn here. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. I wouldn't have pulled those words out today. I love that though. That's necessary. How to advocate in an effective way. Um, I like that. The need for realignment when the King of Swords reverse pops up. So the reversal does call for a sort of reassessment of how we use our own intellectual authority. Are we being fair and just in our judgments? Uh, let's again, it's something to be mindful of. Are we being fair? It's okay to be assertive. It's okay to advocate for yourself, for others, but we also have to be mindful because sometimes, and let me know if I'm making sense, but sometimes when we are fighting for a cause that we think is right, things can get a little blurry, and the way we go about fighting for a just cause can get a little petty, or it can get a little the lines get blurred, and we can be behaving in an inappropriate way with the best of intentions. Does that make sense? And so that's something also we have to be mindful of with the King of Swords reversed. Is yes, we have the best of intentions, but the way we're going about this may not be the best way to execute this thing, right? um and so let me get a little sip, y'all. Let me get a sip. hmm i also feel I also feel with the King of Swords reversed, we may lose the attention to detail. So I feel with the King of Swords in reverse, yeah, we're focused on the present. Maybe we're hyper focused on something, and we're not paying attention to all the little details that are trying, like, surrounding us. It's kind of like when you're like hyper focused on this one thing, and you don't realize like seven other people are starting to surround you, and it's not a good situation to be in, but you're like so hyper focused on this one thing, one individual, you lose sight of your surroundings. Does that make sense? And so I think that again, here in this card today, that's another thing we should be mindful of. Like, okay, what am I possibly hyper focused? Am I possibly, missing out on the other details that are necessary to create the whole picture? And that's another thing that we should be aware of here. Okay. um yeah, I'm trying to think. It's just a little bit of card information every day, so I can't like talk about everything. We'd be here forever. But yeah, if you have any last minute thoughts, questions, concerns, feel free to comment. Let me know. An invitation to be aware, but don't let the assertiveness turn aggressive. Yes, yeah, we have to be. It's a healthy balance of assertiveness, like, because it doesn't take a lot for assertiveness to be aggressive, especially in like intense situations, right? Or let your tunnel vision take away from desired result. Yes, exactly. Absolutely. Perfect. Uh, that's exactly, I love that. So, with that being said, the King of Swords today in reverse asks us to be mindful of how we communicate with ourselves, our self talk, how we communicate with others. Are we being honest or are we being petty? How can we be honest in an uplifting way or encourage, and more so, it's like, how can we be honest in an encouraging way? So it's like, yeah, what you did there, it was terrible. Like you just, it was terrible. But instead of making someone feel bad, it's like, but you really did great here. And it just with practice. So like even with tarot students, and they're trying to interpret something, right? And it's like, here's the book, definition, definition, definition. And I'm like, well, that's great. You're picking up on what needs to be said. That's wonderful. With experience, with practice, with, continuous like practical application, they will start to be able to form bigger sentences and paragraphs and converse, with ease and grace and fluidly. And so it's like, we don't need to say, oh, that was shit, right? We don't need to say that. We can say that was great. You're able, we can focus on the greatness of it. That was great that you're able to pick up on what needs to be expressed. And I will encourage you to keep at it, because eventually where you want to be is to be able to have a conversation. And so instead of just dropping keywords, you'll want to like talk about it in a way that we can understand, and it's fluid. And you'll get better with that as you keep focusing on doing what you're doing, and you keep learning, you keep adding, you keep layering in. And that's kind of what the King of Swords is saying here. It's like, we need to be very aware of how we communicate with others. Instead of shutting them down, we need to encourage, and make better. But it is something that our immediate environment requires us to take a look at. So be mindful of someone who's trying to use their intellectual power maybe against you, or if they're not, then it's you utilizing it against yourself. Be mindful of that and how it manifests for each and every one of us, and take the things into consideration. And if you have any, again, you're watching a recording of this, you have thoughts, questions, concerns, comment, let me know. I'll be happy to respond when I can. But yeah, that's it. That's it, y'all. What it is today? Today's Friday. I will not be here tomorrow, I don't think. Uh, so we'll be back Monday, most likely, recording these again. If you want to see me, if you want to have like a personalized divination session, well, collective, um, I record Sundays, so you can join me on Patreon, patreon.com/ House of Blackthorn. Join me on Patreon, and we do every Sunday. We get together, we record our weekly and our dailies. Otherwise, I will see you Monday. But yeah, thank you. I'm rambling now. Okay. Thank you so much. I do appreciate y'all. Have a blessed rest of your day, whatever day it is that you're watching this. Have fun. Take care. And okay, bye.